In this video, I'm going to go through the procedure to do part 1 of activity 2.1.3a, utility shed design. So all the procedures are here, and there are resources that can help you. This is a bit tedious going through this back and forth from Revit to these instructions, but they will work, and they're pretty good, as you can see. So this video is going to complement that documentation, and I want to try to convince you that part 1 can be summarized roughly like this. So we're going to start by renaming the floor plans. We're going to create some walls and do some dimensioning. We're going to add a floor, then add a roof, and that's pretty much the shell of a shed or a structure. And then we're going to go ahead and modify one of the wall types to show how to do that, and finally change the visual styles to shaded. So let's work our way through this. So I'm going to open a new architectural template. And the first thing that we're asked to do is to rename level 1 and level 2 of the floor plans to floor and roof, like that. And then we're told to use the wall tool in the architecture tab to make the initial walls. So let's go ahead and do that. So as I pan around like this, I'm holding down the scroll wheel, and this shed is going to be pretty small, so I'm going to zoom up a little bit. So I hit the wall button, and here's the line tool. So I'm going to use that. I could use the rectangle tool here, but let's just go ahead and start. So we go along here, and it turns out we know that this should be 16, so I'm just we can kind of sneak in and make it 16 there. So I click, come along here, this is 12. Let's say I don't get it right, I make it too big. Come over here, and then back to here, and then escape twice. So that's what I have, and we're told to make this 16 by 12, so the way to determine the size of this thing is to click on a wall that is perpendicular to the thing you want to modify. So right now we see that this happens to be 16, so we kind of made a square unintentionally. So this side I'm going to make 12, so 12-0, and I'm going to make that a permanent dimension by clicking this little button here. And then I'm going to click on this wall, which is perpendicular to the one I want to modify, and it's already 16, and I can already see that I've made a little bit of a mistake, because we want these boundaries to go to the outside of the walls. So I'm going to click this little button here, and it goes to the inside of the wall and to the outside, so it kind of cycles through the different options. So we want it to be that way, and you can see that made it bigger, or the wall longer than I wanted. So I'm going to change it back to 16, 0, and I'm going to click here to make a permanent dimension. I'm going to click here, let's see, click on here, and then I'm going to lock it so that can't change. And this one I need to modify because I forgot to, let's see, can I do that? There we go. So we're going to cycle through. Hopefully you can see that. If I click here, it goes to the inside face of that wall and the outside. So that changed. Okay, that's right. So if I try to change this, it's sort of cosmetic. It's not going to really change it. The way to change this distance here is to select that wall, and then I can come here and I can change that to 12, which it already was. Okay, what's the matter with that? Let's go back here, and this should be 12. And okay, so I made a mistake here again. So before doing that, I need to make this the outside. Make this measure the outside. So this is going to be 12, 0. There we go. All right. So I know eventually we're going to want these to be a little closer in, so I'm going to pull them in like so. Okay, so what we've done is we've placed walls, we've made them the right dimension, we've made them dimension to the right location, which is the outside face of the wall. And we're in pretty good shape now, I think. Let's go back to our little checklist. So looks like we're about right here. So I'm going to change, we'll just make it, I don't know, what's a nice color? How about green for go? So the green ones I think we've done. All right, so let's now specify the wall height. So we've got this structure here in our floor plan. If we look at, for example, the east view, we see that it's really high. It's by default 20 feet, and if we do the 3D view, you can see that the box is very high. So let's go back to the floor plan here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select all the walls. Actually, I'm going to do something else first. I'm going to go back to the east, and I'm going to change the roof elevation to 8 feet. 8 space 0. Okay. And now I'm going to go back to the floor plan and select all the walls and come over here, and you can see that the base constraint is the floor, the top constraint is unconnected. I'm going to constrain it to the next level up, which is the roof. And as soon as I bring my cursor back into the graphics area, it will change. So I'll go back to 3D, there it is, east, and it looks like we've got the right height. Also, one thing I'm going to do, I'm going to reduce the length of these elevation markers dramatically. They're really wide out there, and that's going to mess things up for me later as I try to make a drawing. So let's come out there, and then also let's do the north as well, a perpendicular direction. So we'll grab it here, pull it in there, come over here, grab the little hollow circle over there, and now we've got our north and east elevations right there. There's our 3D, and here's our floor plan. All right, so let's go back here, and we just specified a wall height, so we'll call that one done, green. Now we need to add a floor, and to do that we're going to go to the floor plan and then go to the architecture tab and select floor, and we're going to click on the outside lines here. So this little selection pick walls is highlighted, so that allows us to define the floor by picking the walls. So there we go. And we're told that we want to change that to wood joist 10 inches wood finish, so I'm going to select there and then click the green check mark, and there's our floor. So let's look at it in the 3D view. There we go, and we can see it on all of the views, as we should. Okay, so we've got a floor, and we selected a floor type, so let's eliminate that one. Let's add a roof. So for the roof, we want to go to the roof floor plan. However, if we try to place a roof here, it'll recognize what we're trying to do, and it'll ask us if we want to change the roof. Let's do that. So if I click roof here, it says you ever created a roof on the lowest level. You probably don't want to do that. Would you like to move it to the roof? Yes. Okay. So now you can see we've got the grayed out floor plan. So I can't modify anything here. Well, I guess I can modify the floor, but it's grayed out because we're on the roof plan. And so I want to come up here, I want to keep defined slopes checked initially, and my overhang is going to be 1 foot, 0 inches. And I'm going to select the walls here. So here to here is going to be the sides of the shed which start the sloped roof. And I'm going to deselect define slope now and select here and here so that I end up with a gable roof. And the green check mark and 3D, there we go. So there's our roof. You'll notice that the walls here don't extend all the way up, so what we want to do in that case is select that wall, hold the shift key and the scroll wheel at the same time to rotate it, and hit the control button, and so we can select both of them, and then come up here to attach top base, select the roof, and it's connected. So let's go back here. Alright, so we've got a roof. We've specified an overhang and a slope. So what's left is we want to modify a wall type. We're told to modify one of these here and change it to exterior brick on metal stud. So I'll do that. So that one wall has that characteristic. And so we modified a wall there. Now it says change visual styles to shaded, so there's a lot of useful buttons down here regarding the way things appear. So if I click this box here, I can choose shaded, and the shed will start to have some colors. And I believe that is all we need to do for part 1. So to summarize, it's useful to kind of get a big picture of what we're trying to do in a particular assignment. And for part 1, it's pretty simple. We just create sort of the shell of the building, walls, floor, and roof, and then we practice our first time modifying a wall. And next we'll move on to part 2. Thanks for watching.